Hello, my name is Bianca and this is the makeup look that you have been crying and screaming for. Yeah, I'm finally filming a tutorial. Let's go. So I already did my skincare. It's time to get into it. And whenever I do this kind of makeup look, I start with the eyebrows because honestly it's kind of hard to do them and I want to make sure that I get them right and that I don't fuck up the makeup that I already put on if I have to wipe them off and try again. If you already know how to do your eyebrows, do them your way because this is not my strongest suit. I'm trying to make them as straight as they can be. I'll be back when they're done.
A few moments later.
These are the eyebrows. This is what we're working with. I carved them out with some concealer also, and now we can move on to the rest of the makeup. It's time for foundation. I use this foundation. As you can see, it's busted. I use it a lot. This foundation is pretty popular, but I will say that when I first got it, I did not like it. I hated it. It was separating on my face. It didn't apply well. It was too matte. It didn't blend well, and I've never seen anyone talk about this, but I'll be the first to tell you, you need to shake this foundation before you use it. If you don't, it's gonna separate. That's about how much I use. That's actually a little too much. The fastest way to put this on is with a dense brush. Doesn't matter if it's streaky right now, you'll see. And we're not doing this with a sponge because when you're using a sponge, it's gonna absorb the product before it even goes onto your face and you're gonna lose a lot of that product. By applying it with a brush first, you're making sure that it's all over your face, and then you can and you will go in with a sponge to make sure that it's nice and smooth, which is what we're doing right now. And this is a wet sponge. This is what's gonna help you get a really nice and smooth skin texture, which is obviously what you want. And I already hate this eyebrow, but... Next, I'm gonna use the concealer that I used to carve out the eyebrows, which is very close to my skin tone. It's not gonna be a brightening concealer. I'm also applying it wherever I want more coverage. Underneath the eyes, I'm gonna blend with the sponge again. I'm going in with a small dense brush and I'm just tapping it. I'm not smudging it anywhere. I'm not, moving it from place to place. I'm just tapping it in until it's blended. It's time for our liquid bronzer and blush. Starting with bronzer, you already know. This is my placement of it. Also, don't forget the eyes. I almost did. The bronzer on the eyes is really gonna help us later. Okay, and then I go in with the brush. And again, I tap it. Liquid products, when you want to blend them, you need to tap them in. It's just gonna turn out way better than if you were to smudge them or go into circles or whatever motion. Okay, and this is one side of the face blended, and now it's time to do the other. And for the nose, I switch it up with this brush. This brush is gonna be very helpful. I never thought that I would need a brush like this, but it's fluffy and it's also almost flat, but it's very fluffy. But it's, yeah. You see it, I don't have to explain. And I'm going like this. And I'm gonna connect this to the beginning of the eyebrows. Whenever I go out, I prefer going for a cool toned blush instead of my regular. This instead of this. This is warm toned. This is cool toned. This is more natural, you can tell. This is not natural. I go for the not natural one whenever I feel extra. But I can also do this. In my glow up video, the last video that I posted, I used this, which also turned out really good, but I've been missing this type of blush, and this is the placement for it. underneath the eye. the corner of the eye. Maybe even taking it higher, you know. And then I also like it here. I haven't done this in a while. And here on the bridge of the nose. And I'm telling you once again, you need to tap this one, especially the blush right now, because we want to keep the placement of it. Now that we're done with these, we're gonna lighten the under eyes. Another thing that I really love is using a concealer that has a pink undertone, because it kind of blends into the blush and it looks really nice. And you're gonna blend it with a sponge. And you can even take the sponge and go here. Time for powder. If you want this look to resist like battles, I'm talking wars, if you want this to be with you for the rest of your life, this is the time to spray your face with setting spray. I don't need that right now because I'm not, you know, I'm not about to party hard, but this is the time to use setting spray all over your face. Let that dry entirely and then you're gonna bake. And you know what? I'm also feeling good today, so I'm gonna change the old powder puff with a new one. This one's pink. It's so soft. I mean, I wish you could see and feel how soft this really is. And it's a darker pink than it looks on camera. Place it there and make sure I create that line to really make my nose contour look good. You know, I hyped up this powder puff, but it's actually not as good as the last one, so I don't know. It's kind of stiff, I don't know. Oh my god. And another thing that you need to do is put it on your eyelids. I don't fuck with this eyebrow at all. I fucking hate it, actually. You can do this eye look with any colors that you want, as long as you use dark colors where you're supposed to use dark colors and light colors where you're supposed to use light colors. Because the most important thing about this makeup look, this eye look especially, is the contrast. We're doing a cut crease. And in order for the cut crease to look like it's a cut crease, you need to have a lot of contrast both between the shade of the cut crease and the shade behind it, if that makes any sense. You will see. I'm gonna do this makeup in brown because I feel like this is the version of it that works with any outfit, but I've also done it with blue. I'm putting it on the screen. You need to start with, I'm using this brush again. This is the brush from the nose contour, but any fluffy brush will do. And you pick up a light brown. I'm using this. You see where my eyelid ends? I'm putting it on top of that. So over the crease, that's what it's called. Kind of winging it out. Because it's a very light shade and because we did that helpful step of adding bronzer to the eyelid, you won't have that hard of a time blending it out. Don't worry if it looks like it's too much right here. You're gonna need that. And connecting it to the nose a little bit even, and we're done with that part. We're gonna go into a bit of a darker brown with a smaller fluffy brush. This is what I'm talking about. This shade, not the darkest. Applying it on top of the crease, keeping it closer to the crease. That's why I need a smaller brush. Hold your brush down here. Your hand should be here, not here. If you keep your hand here, sure, you might have more precision, I guess, but you won't be able to blend it as well. If you hold it here, it will blend better, I don't know. And I'm kind of dragging it out towards the end of my eye, but I'm keeping it more, you know, intense over here. You will look crazy at this point because it looks like it's too much and too dark and whatever. But you need to trust the process. It's that kind of look. It's time to cut the crease. You need concealer. Now, you can either use a light concealer that you have, or you can do what I do and use a white concealer. And you pick that bitch up and you put it here and here. And then you look up. And what do you know? It forms the crease for you. And you could honestly just put it on your eyelid, look up, and then the crease is done. But this is not enough for me. Different people have different eye shapes. I have hooded eyes, which means that when I look up like this, you can't see anything that's sitting on my eyelid. Only cutting the crease this much for me is not gonna do anything, because the second I open my eyes fully, you can't really see it as well. I prefer doing more. Going over the crease, creating a new eye crease is gonna make your eyes look bigger. So here's what I do. I do this step first, because when I do this, I can tell that the cut crease needs to be at least this big. So I grab this, I put it on the back of my hand. I have this flat brush. This is the same brush that I used to carve out my eyebrows. It's just a flat brush. I'm lucky enough to use this brush as a guide because I can go in the inner corner like this. So the whole brush is in my inner corner, and I can drag it up from there. You can see on this side where I didn't do the cut crease, I have this bone, I guess, here that's connecting my eyebrow to my nose, and it forms that little crease there. I put the eyeshadow on that, and you can still see it as a shadow, right? That's what I'm gonna follow. I want to destroy that little bone there. That's also gonna make my nose look smaller. We want to look like we cannot breathe. I'm also not shying away from adding it in my inner corner, tapping the setting powder on top. So I'm grabbing white eyeshadow. Again, you need contrast between the brown from the background of the cut crease and the cut crease. So I'm adding white right here. I'm gonna get that darker brown that I use, and I'm gonna define that crease really well. That small blending brush that we used for the darker brown, grabbing the darker brown, I'm putting it right there in the outer corner of my eye, connecting it a little bit to the lash line, and also connecting it to the line that we created on top of the cut crease, and winging it out. And now it's time for glitter, the best part of this makeup look. You can go for multiple types of glitter, but you need to be careful though. It has a base. That base is gonna take away from the white of your eyelid, and it's gonna take away from the contrast, so we cannot use any of those. We need a very light glitter, white, or just a glitter that has no, I guess, background color to it. This highlighter from Fenty Beauty, Diamond Bomb, doesn't have a base color. That's what we want. What I love about this highlighter is that you can even go over the brown. And then I also have a brush for glitter, similar to my concealer brush. And then I go in especially focusing onto the inner corner. Eyeliner time. The thing with the eyeliner is you gotta line almost your entire lash line, because we are going to add lashes and I don't want to see the lash bend. If you've got amazing skills at putting on your fake eyelashes, then you don't have to line your entire lash line, but you gotta keep that line very thin. I'm also doing inner corner eyeliner, and it's your lucky day, because if you fucked up the eyeliner, you can fix it, or at least not make it look so obvious. And this is when we're gonna use the darkest brown shade on a very small blending brush, tapping out the excess and putting that right there so it blends into the rest of the makeup. And you can already see what a huge difference that makes, because now my eye, this one, looks like it's, you know, this is the shape of the eye. This one, you can tell that it's eyeliner in a cut crease. This one is one singular. Pretty much done. Now it's time for the finishing touches. We're gonna start with the lashes. Whether or not you want to use fake lashes, you need mascara and a lash curler. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna come back. If you're happy with the way your face looks with just mascara, I'm so happy for you. couldn't be me. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it could look so much better. And I'm setting them down here, letting the glue get tacky. You're gonna go ahead and wipe off the bake. You're gonna take out your powder bronzer, powder blush, and your highlighter, because you'll see that once you finish the eyes, the rest of the face is gonna look too bland. And then here's what blush I'm gonna use, because remember I said I use a cool tone blush. It's making me almost emotional. This is so beautiful. This shade is so fucking beautiful. I'm taking the bronzer and I'm putting it underneath the eye highlighter, putting it on. Okay, and now I'm gonna put on my lashes because I feel like the glue is drying a little too much. So for this next part, take this and put it right underneath that inner corner wing. And that's gonna make your eyes really pop and look really big. Also, another step that you can do is put on some white eye pencil on the waterline, and I'm gonna do that right now. And using the same this is from NYX white eye pencil, I'm gonna highlight my nose. And now it's time for lips. I have this lip liner from NYX and I don't know where it went. Okay, that's literally heartbreaking, so I'm gonna have to use another one. This one's darker than I would like. This was the color of the liner that I wanted because it matched the lipstick. It's not that bad, but it's not that good either. Oh, and my hair clip. Whatever, it's fine. This is the makeup look. Put on your party outfit, go have fun. There's no questioning whether or not you're hot if you have this makeup look on. You are. And if you did this makeup look, honestly, when you post yourself with it because you look hot and you need to take pictures in this, tag me so I can see and I can comment on how absolutely gorgeous you are. Thank you for following my tutorial. Love you, bye!